Of 600 Seconds of Trading. My name is Alejandro Zambrano, Chief Market Analyst with TradeCaptain.com. We're going to provide you guys with a quick update on the markets as we usually do at this time of the day here in the live trading room. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then please remember that we host this webinar Monday to Friday here at the live trading room here. Before we start looking at the markets, good morning to you guys. We have Juan here, Maurizio as well, and if you guys want to join in the chat box, then just sign in with your YouTube account, which is free, and then you will be able to say hello and ask any questions really. Let's begin, and we're going to also, yes, I forgot to mention, I know you guys are very experienced, most of you guys, but there's always someone here that is not experienced. And I need to mention that trading financial markets, unfortunately, is risky. 95% of things you'll find on YouTube and online is going to tell you how easy it is to trade. Well, I've been trading since 2006, and it's not really that easy. In fact, it takes quite a long time to find a system that works for you and be profitable in trading. So for more on this and the risks involved, don't forget to read the risk disclosure. We have Essam as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's good to see so many people here in the chat box. I'm liking it. Thank you. Okay, let's begin. And let me just load my charts. I had them in front of me, and now I don't. There we go. So we're going to take a look at the euro, as we usually do. So the euro is moving to the upside today, and there is a bearish bias to this market to some extent. I mean, if you just zoom out, you can see here that this market has been moving lower since April up here, and the market has then moved down, down, and down, and then up. And then this is the big ECB day on June 14th. The market declined, and then my idea was for this to go up, and I said we can sell here for this to go to the downside, and that happened. And then now we're moving up again, and again, if the market decides to trade all the way up to 1687, then I think from this level all the way up to maybe, I think at least 117, 65 or so, 118, traders are going to be very interested to sell. And stop loss orders, initial stop loss orders go up here. The alternative scenario, which is my preference, is that we take out this triple bottom. So you got 1, 2, 3 lows here. And if we take out the June low, it should be relatively straightforward for the market, I think at least, to trade down to the July 2017 low at 113.12, if not 111.14. So that's sort of my preference for this market. For now, though, it is moving to the upside. It looks to me that today's session is going to be a bit bullish. It will probably try to take out this high, probably move to the upside, and then we'll see what happens. Most of the time, if the market decides that it wants to be bullish in the beginning of the day, then it'll continue to be bullish until pretty much 3 o'clock London time. The next market we're going to cover, it's going to be Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is starting to show some interesting sort of movements. The market, which is in a downtrend still, is creating these lower and lower highs on this 4 hour, and we traded up, and I was just suspecting this market to move to the downside. Instead it pushed to the upside. Now we're still trading below my trend defining low at 6,805, and the idea is that the market could still sort of move to the downside. Now we've seen some interesting price action, and I'm going to show you that today, even though sort of the presentation sort of focuses on certain specific set of markets, but I'm showing you, for example, a situation like Ripple. You can see here Ripple also ended its short-term downtrend. You have Bitcoin Cash, which as well ended its short-term downtrend. So you're starting to see signs across the whole spectrum of coins, and this is sort of the top 10, top 12 coins. Starting to see many of them starting to turn bullish. So I'm starting to see some setups here, not setups. I mean, it would have been great, for example, in Bitcoin Cash to have bought already down here, or maybe in Ripple, maybe be long from pretty much here, and then sort of see what happens. I think now Again, we're starting to see some signs of the market potentially bottoming out. And sort of my next sort of move in coins like Ripple, not necessarily Bitcoin, but for example, it will be for this market to head to the downside. And then maybe we'll sort of push up like this. And there's different ways of trading this. We could either buy the dip or we can buy the breakout. So right now, this is the high, right? So take out the high and then we have more of a proper low in the market. And potentially we'll have a nice little summer rally in cryptos as we did just a few months ago when the market moved up like this. Now, if you exclusively focus on Bitcoin, again, sort of look at 6,805, take out this high, and this market could potentially move up to 77.84. Now, this is gold, and gold reached more or less the profit target that we discussed. So you might remember we said look to sell here. I said look to sell here, and then here over the last few days I said look to sell a pullback, but we never really met the sell zone. Instead, what happened is that the first and second position has now pretty much moved to the December 2017 low, and this is probably a good spot to book profits if you have not done so already. This market could of course continue to move to the downside, and there are other metals to give you an idea. Let me see here, Trade Captain. I'm just gonna close things down here, so make sure that we don't take too much. If you have 1,000 tabs up and running like I do, then as you know, the computer just turns slow. Under technical analysis, I did update some setups yesterday. Copper prices is something you definitely want to keep an eye on. So instead of saying being bearish gold, maybe being bearish copper, I think is a better idea. This is the 2018 low, the former one. If we start to trade below that level, we'll have a breakout out of this massive channel, and that could potentially cause the market to move to the downside. In fact, I published similar stuff on the New Zealand dollar versus the USD. And let me show you that. It's on my Twitter, but I also publish it here, of course. So this is the New Zealand dollar, and this is a weekly chart, and you had a break to this support level here. There's no guarantee that the market will continue to tumble, but I suspect this market, when we took out this low, potentially can continue to move to the downside to the January 20th low, if not all the way down to the lows here from 2015. Now let's go back to the main presentation. So again, gold, I think probably start to book profits, if anything. In the near term, the market remains in a downtrend without a doubt. This might have another sort of push to the downside. I think if we go up to pretty much these levels up here, which are the, let me see, this level is the 12,048 level, 48.9. I think around these levels, again, sort of people that have been long, that should have booked losses since a long time, are probably going to start to unwind those. So I still think we're going to go up and then probably attack the downside again. But down here it's an opportunity to book profits, step away, and then maybe look for something else that is much better. Personally, I think copper is something I will keep an eye on. The next market is crude oil, and crude oil, it's a bit difficult, to be honest. I mean, in the short term, this market just continues to trade higher and higher and higher, and there's one way of dealing with this. When you look at a 4-hour chart, you're not gonna see all these lows, and you always need a low to sort of figure out what's the trend defining level, where to put my stop loss. And if I look at the 4-hour, where's sort of the most important low? Well, probably down here at 63.51 or at 67.68. So from that perspective, if I buy up here and I put a stop loss down here, I'm going to risk 9.36%, which is a very bad risk reward ratio, unless of course I think that this market is going to continue to move to the upside. Now, I think it will move to the upside, but in the short term, it's not sort of a good risk reward ratio. So one way of dealing with these markets when they start to sort of they rally and rally and rally, and you never have an opportunity to get involved, is to maybe not look at the 4 hour. Instead, you look at the 1 hour, and if you look at the 1 hour, you see you have some lows here, and this is the 72.90 level, and maybe this is going to act as support, and then you buy the breakout, but ideally you just take a Fibonacci from this low to this high like this, and then this is a 50% correction. So maybe down here you could potentially get involved if you're a bit of a scalper. Your risk here would be about $1.4. So I say $1, sorry, goes up, you make 91 cents, and if it goes up a little bit more than what you're risking, then you're good. So you need to make $1 here. So $1 is pretty much at 75, and that sort of is not unlikely. Now, why do I not trade these setups? Well, because these are short-term setups. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work, and I reached the sort of a stage at my trading that I can't be involved with. I don't want to be involved in these short-term setups because it's just too much stress for nothing really. So I'm waiting for those sort of big moves, and I have no issues waiting a week or two to get a big move. And that's why I'm not actually trading. I would not trade on the 1 hour nowadays. I can use the 1 hour to get involved in a bigger pattern. To give you an idea that when the New Zealand dollar moved to the downside, that's something where I would potentially use a 1 hour to sort of figure out where to put stops and where to put entries. But then after that, the target and everything is sort of guided by the big picture. Okay, this is the German DAX, and the German DAX is bullish, and well, actually I wouldn't call it bullish, I'm sorry about that. It's short-term bullish today. It's up with 23 points, which is really nothing, and the big picture is still limited by 12,443. And Donald Trump may say something on the Chinese or the European Union, and then this is again sort of trading back at the lows. I have no issues waiting. I think this big picture market is just trading sideways, and it's very difficult to do anything here. And I think if I was a buyer, I would probably look to buy here at 12,000. I think that's a better situation. Maybe try to buy here. Stops at 11,307. So the risk about 300 points, 350 points or something like that. And then you wait a month or two, and maybe it'll be up at the highs again. Why? Well, because the world economy most of the time is far more resilient than you may think. To give you an idea, today a lot of people are worried about the situation in China, and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is down by a significant amount. I had even a bearish setup here, but I never traded it because I didn't believe in it. But the market from the high here in June declined with about 11.73%. And I'm not saying we should look to buy now, but if this market is trading at the highs, or maybe take out this high in 6 months or 1 year, then that would not surprise me at all. Okay, I think we covered all of the markets here plus some extras. And let's see now if you guys have any questions. As well, we do have some webinars coming up, educational webinars. Don't forget to check that out. And as well, if you're watching this, if you leave, don't forget to like the video. You click on the link here, and then just hit that like button here. Okay, so we got a question here from Mauricio. Mauricio, what do I think about the Australian stock market? So I'm bullish the Australian stock market. So this is the Australian stock market, and it's actually something I bought myself already 2 weeks ago. So why am I bullish then? Well, the Australian stock market was trading sideways. This is 2017, this is 2018. So you can see it's traded sideways for quite some time. Had an explosive bullish breakout here. Now, when you sort of trapped in this range, I mean, you can ignore this section here if you want to. You can just treat this, okay, like a double bottom, maybe a triple bottom, 2 highs. Then you'll have, you don't have to have this, but it's a rectangle pattern. So you get the low here, then you get the high here, and then you put it like that. That gives you the target. So that's 531 points. And then I just bought. So this is actually my target. And I already bought it here on June 18th, and then I bought a bit more on June 20th. And I just reduced my stop losses on this position. And my stop losses are actually just below this level. Why do I put it just below that level? Well, maybe I should have put it here where it was from the beginning. Actually, it was here, and then I reduced it to here. But the reason why I did this is because I was starting to get a little bit worried, because I'm also short platinum, and you probably see my Twitter feed. Platinum was down with 5% yesterday. It's up a little bit today, but it was down with 5%. And you see gold moving down, copper moving down, U.S. stock market is a little bit sort of wobbly. Then I'm surprised that the Australian stock market has actually held up that good. Now again, we start to see tentative signs of maybe U.S. stock market is bottoming out. Hong Kong stock market is, well, it touched my target, so I don't think it's going to decline much more. So maybe I'll be fine now. And I do think that maybe this market, maybe later this week or next week, potentially will take out this high. At the same time, if it doesn't take out the high, and it just sort of breaks down, then I would have taken a loss here, which is a tiny loss. It's less than 1% right now, just because I reduced the entry so much. So I'm bullish on the Aussie stock market. My long-term view is for the market to reach something like 66.88. It will probably take a month or two, if not more. I don't really think it's going to go on very easily, but you know, I have this little push here. Maybe you'll get a little bit of another push like that, and then I'll book profits here, and then sort of get out of the market, and then potentially look to get involved again. So here I'm bullish, and I like this push here like that, because we're not out of the woods yet. Something may happen. U.S. stock markets can decline. Asian stock markets as well. In fact, with metals in general being soft, again, I'm sort of a bit surprised that people are still buying the Aussie stock market. Okay, that concludes today's market update. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Here's my Twitter, AlexFX00. That's sort of the best venue if you want to keep track of what I'm up to. I will publish to let you know when I'm live on my webinar. I'm also going to sort of share interesting ideas I'm tracking. I'll also retweet the team here, of course, at Trade Captain. I do some of that as well. If you want access to all of the analysis here at Trade Captain, then I suggest you follow the Trade Captain handle. It's all of our content, and as well, if you're interested in more technical analysis, then you can follow Nathan. Nathan is our senior technical analyst here, and he provides content and analysis for the team, not for the team, for the readers, sorry, from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. London time. So his job is to sort of share 2-3 ideas in the morning, or that he likes a lot, sort of forward-looking, and then during the day he's going to be tracking UK, European data, and as well US data published at 1:30. So if you want to have some more support, some more guidance, then don't forget to follow him and just check out the homepage. In fact, if you just stay on the homepage and you reload the page once in a while, you're going to have all our content. We are trying to write articles short like this, so you get the salient points and sort of know exactly what's going on in the markets without too much sort of complicated text. And yeah, you can just check this out and sort of get a little bit more input to how to potentially trade better. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me today. Mauricio, Juan, and Esam, I hope to see you guys tomorrow. And everybody else, of course, that is joining, I hope to see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. London time. Thanks.